Hello, my name is Jan Thielemann, and in this video I want to talk about OSGi patterns in iDempiere and how you can benefit from them in your own plugins and how you could use OSGi patterns to extend iDempiere's core. Okay, so let's start with a little bit of exploring. And for this I want to open the core class from the base plugin or base bundle. And what you see here is a lot of different patterns, OSGi patterns in iDempiere. You see this service class with its locator method, and this locator has some methods to list classes or search classes from other plugins. For example, here we load a list of iResource-Finder, which is an interface from the base plugin, and then we will get all the services from other OSGi plugins which implement the iResource-Finder pattern. And yeah, here's the same with the column callout factory. This is a slightly different one. Here we check every OSGi bundle to load the class, and the first one we find who fits the resource name will be returned. Here it's a little bit different. We load all the iColumn callout factories, and for every callout from the factory we add this to the list and return the whole list of the iColumn callouts. So there are two different things. The first one is search the first one who fits and use it. And the second one could be summed up in everybody who fits my criteria should be used. And then there's a third one, which I often see in iDempiere. It's in the action class and in the getAction method. Right here, you can locate a specific instance from another plugin by the how's it called? The component name. And here I have a form factory, for example, and I have a component definition right here. And this is my component name. So if this were an action component definition, then I could load it with the my form factory as the name right here. Yeah, so these three patterns are the mainly used patterns in iDempiere, I believe. And now I want to show you how you can implement them, and you can implement them basically everywhere. It could be in the base plugin, it could be in one of the UI plugins, or it can even be in your own plugin. And that's what I want to do right now. So I create a new plugin project and call it my master plugin. It's an OSGi framework, Equinox. I don't need an activator. I don't need to use templates. I just want to create this one. Okay, so let's create a new package, the Equinox Consulting. And here I first create something iDempiere can use. Let's use a process. Okay, so this is my process. It extends the server process. Of course, I need to add dependencies here. So I add the base, and I believe that should be everything I need. Import the class and implement the methods. That's good for now. Then I need a process factory. And this one implements the iProcess factory, of course. And if the class name is equal to my process, then I return a new instance of my process. Now I need to create a component definition. Which is my process factory. Let's name it like this. It's my process factory as the class. Save this one. Of course, add the service ranking. And if you don't know what the service ranking is for, then I recommend you to watch one of the other videos, because I explained it like 20 times or so. Okay, the service we are implementing is the iProcess factory. Yep, it's the right one I used. Save it. Let's take a look if Eclipse messed up the XML. No, it didn't. Make a little this out. And let's see if it works. Did I forgot something? I don't think I need more for a simple process. So this is a process and it's my process. Okay, by now my process should work. And it does. Wonderful. So the next thing is we can start implementing the OSGi pattern by ourselves. So what do we need for this? That highly depends on your needs. As you saw with the actions, you can either have one special component, then you don't need a factory. Or you can use the factory pattern, and I often like to use the factory pattern. And the factory pattern is you have one interface, which is your factory and returns the object you want to use. And the second interface is for the object. And so I will create a worker factory, which of course returns worker instances. So iWorker has the method public void do some work, and this is of course an interface, and a public string what's your name method. So this is my simple worker, and my worker factory of course is a method which is public iWorker get worker for job string job. And this is the interface too, of course. Okay. That's for that. Now I need my process, and here I can start implementing the OSGi factory. So, because I'm lazy, I will just copy this piece of code right here and change it to iWorker factory. I love copy paste because it's because I'm so lazy. So what do we do here? First, we ask OSGi for all the iWorker factory classes it can find. Then we check if we have some factories. Then we will iterate over all the factories. And then we will say we have a iWorker equals factory get worker for job. Job. Okay, so let's create a new array. String jobs equals let's say we have consulting and construction. So this are our jobs. And let's say for string job in jobs, we will ask our factories, all our factories, for a worker for this job. And if the worker is not null, then let's say worker do some name. The name is worker. What's your name? So we will ask the worker for his name, and then he will do some work, and finally we will break this for loop in our factory for loop. So this could be placed in another method, and let's call this method public void first worker do the job. Okay, so this one is called first worker do the job because you see we iterate over all the factories with all the jobs, and we will only use the first worker for each job, depending on the factory which first returns a worker for our job. So let's copy this whole method and create the second pattern I was talking about. And this one will be called all workers do the job. And we simply remove the break right here. And this will ensure that every worker we can possibly find will do the job. And then we have the third one. And let's call this let worker 2 do the job. And here I want to use the one from the actions class, which is this one. I will just copy this one. I can remove all this and say worker equals service locator. Of course I need to use the iWorker factory class because we're not implementing the worker, but the worker factory as the component in OSGi. And here we say worker 2 for now, but actually what's the problem here? Why do I need to cast this? Okay, so let's cast it. I don't understand why, but sure, why not? See if it works. So this is the worker factory. And the worker factory of course we need to iterate over all the jobs. And then we let the worker do the work if it is not null. And let's copy this one too. Let's print each method's name right before the other outputs are written to the console. Okay, and now we just have to call these methods. So first we call first worker do the job, then we call all workers do the job, and finally let worker 2 do the job. And what's the problem here? Nothing. Okay. So this is my master plugin. It uses the OSGi factories, and now we need some other plugins to extend this functionality. So I create a new plugin and say this is my first slave plugin. So here I add the dependencies to my master plugin and save this one. I create a new package and call it the idempieres consulting. Here I create a new class, which is my, or let's call it first construction worker. And this one is the first consulting worker. And then of course we have the worker factory, which implements the worker factory pattern. Factory. So I think I forgot to export the idempieres consulting in my master plugin to the exported packages on the runtime tab, because otherwise other plugins using my master plugin as a dependencies cannot see the content of the packages. So you have to export the package, otherwise other plugins cannot see it. So here let's say if job equals construction, I hope this is written correctly, then I return a new first construction worker. And if the job equals consulting, then I return a new first consulting worker. Of course, these two have to implement the worker. And here we say he does some work. And the second one, this one. And here we change this to this. And finally, we need a component definition for the worker factory. So this is my worker factory. My first slave plugin .worker.factory is the name of the component. The class is the myWorker factory class. And finish it. And now I will talk again about the service ranking, because you will see the impact in a few minutes. So let's say our first slave plugin has a service ranking of 101, and the second plugin will get the service ranking of 100. So this way the worker factory from the first plugin will always be loaded before the second plugin. And then yeah, you will see the order and understand why it is sometimes important to use the service ranking property properly. So here I have to say that the iWorker factory was provided by the service. Check the structure of the XML. Looks good. Manifest looks good. I would say it's time for a little test. So let's start the server again. And I will already start creating the second plugin, which is just a copy of the first one. So I call it my second slave plugin, and finish this. And let me see if I can copy this whole package. Oh, this looks good. So let me refactor this, rename, and it's of course the second one. So I added the master plugin. Am I done already? I need to add the component definition in the second plugin, of course, but let's first test my process. Oh, we get a big error. Dynamic service holder cannot be casted. Oh, what did I do wrong? Ah, okay. So this is my problem. Let's comment this one out for a second. The code was not correctly, but I will correct it in a second. Also, I forgot to change the run configuration, so I do this now real quick. This is my first one, and they both should be auto starting. Apply. Run the server again. So the server started. Okay, I still forgot to add the second component definition. But you see, the first worker to do the job is the first worker, of course, for both works. For all workers do the job, it's also the first, or only the first worker. Let's add some identification signs here. Okay, so let's fix this. The first thing is we need to add the component definition for the second worker factory, which is this one, worker factory, and this one I would like to copy. Add property service ranking. What did I say? 101 was the one from the first plugin, am I right? 101, yes. And this one is 100 and has the worker factory. Okay, this looks good. So we need to fix this. And this is of course not an iWorker factory, sondern this is the iService holder with the generic type. And then I believe I don't need to cast this anymore, do I? I need to import it, okay. So this is the service holder, and if the service holder is not null, and then we say our iWorker factory worker factory equals service holder get service, and now we should be able to restart this, but the name right here is not right. So let's see the second worker factory. I want to use this one because this one has the lower service ranking. And this means that every time we will only load one, the first one we find, then we will never actually load the one from the second slave plugin. And by using this, the component name of the component of the second one, the service ranking doesn't matter anymore because it will now use this. And yeah, what I also have to mention is that this name right here of the component definition should be unique across the whole application. Okay, but I talked enough. Let's see if everything works like I expected. And yeah, what do I expect in my process? Wherever it is, where's my process? My process right here. Yeah, so here the both workers from the first slave plugin will be called. Here every possible worker will be called, and here only the one from the second plugin will be called. Let's check it. See if we have any errors. And there it is. So here you see the first consulting and construction workers are called. Here the first consulting, I forgot to change the names right here, right? Okay. So then quickly fix this. You haven't seen anything. Okay. So that's the little errors I make, but they are easy to fix, and I think you get the point. The point of using the OSGi factories. Ah, wonderful, there it is. So here you see in the first one, the first construction and consulting workers are called. Here the first and second consulting worker are called, and the first and the second construction worker, because we are iterating over the jobs first and not over the factories, which we could have done, but we haven't. And here you see I loaded especially the second factory by the name of the component definition. Okay, so yeah, I hope this video helped you to get a better understanding of how OSGi is implemented in iDempiere and how you can extend iDempiere with OSGi by yourself. Yeah, basically it's all about factories, component definitions and such things. It's not so hard to learn, and there are a lot of examples in the core if you take a look at existing source code. And yeah, there are many places who are already extendable via OSGi, but there are also parts of the application which are not yet. And I think with a little bit of yeah, trying it out, giving it a chance, you will be able to extend iDempiere's core by yourself. And I love to see your contributions in the near future. Yeah, so I hope the video helped you, and I see you soon in the next video.